Hello my friends, Francesco here. This past weekend I started painting the portrait of a twig fairy and I filmed the initial process of staining the paper. I begin by wetting the paper with clean water. I'm using ArchesCold Pressed 300-pound watercolor paper. It is a very thirsty paper, so this part of the process is very satisfying because the paper wants the water. It drinks the water right away. Once I have soaked the paper with water, I begin by staining it with a mix of olive green, Pines Grays, and Van Dyke Brown. The reason why I stain the paper is because I'm trying to get rid of some of the white of the paper, although I'm leaving some of the white in areas of the painting where I think the light might be hitting my subject more intensely. Staining the paper also helps with getting rid of some of the paper sizing, which protects the paper and make it so it won't absorb the paint like a paper towel does, for instance, too fast. And depending on manufacturers, sizing is more or less intense. So by soaking or wetting the paper with clear water, you prepare the surface to be more receptive to the paint. If you want to try and test some of the papers with and without soaking them, you'll notice the difference. When you don't soak the paper almost rejects the paint, and it's much harder to paint. It's a much more frustrating experience to try to paint on paper that hasn't been prepared. And as some of you may know, I love painting with diluted gouache, which has similar results to watercolors, but it's really cool in its own ways. The difference between gouache and watercolors is that the white pigment used in the gouache paint becomes more evident as you're building the layers of your painting, giving the painting a chalky effect, sort of a patina that you won't get with watercolors unless you add white gouache paint to your watercolor paint, which is doable. It's basically making your watercolors into gouache. What I do here is that I'm trying to I add more darker values of the green in areas where I think I need to have shadows, more intense shadows. And then next I'll start also applying light stain to the face of the fairy. And I usually I switch to warmer colors in this case, and this is all very loose, and that's why I actually really enjoy this part of the process, because it doesn't require me to pay attention too much to the details. The paper is still wet. I just apply sort of with a strategy, but not being too concerned about the final result, because keep in mind that once the paper is dry and the paint is dry, I will continue adding layers to the painting, and basically all that you're seeing in the video will be covered by another layer of colors. So this is just to get rid of the white, get a sense of values, very light values, and just have a loose approach to the painting. I hope you will try this technique with your own paintings, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. Have some fun painting.